Hi, this is Joyce, back again, discussing what I think is important and what you've told me is important to you. For most of my friends, there are only a couple of issues on their mind. One is the Black Lives Matter movement. It's important to all of us. I know many have walked with the protesters, and I know that first responders have also walked with the protesters. It is all of our hope that this movement becomes a movement with legislation that codifies equal justice and equal opportunity for Black lives, because they do matter. They matter to all of us. They are our sisters and our brothers. It's not fair that they should be first to be fired. It's not fair that they should be 3 times more likely to get the virus. And it is not fair that they should be either the largest group that's incarcerated or just murdered for the color of their skin. Our country, unfortunately, has a bloody history of genocide. May not be taught in the schools, but it's happened. It's happened to the African American community. It's happened to the American Indians. It's time. It's the 21st century. I thought people would speak up before about the injustices that confront us and confront certain groups more than any other groups. But they haven't. But I am happy that finally people are understanding that our country is not going in the right direction. We do need better health care and better alliances with the police. It's interesting that there's so many conspiracies about what does defunding the police mean. This is not a dreadful term. It means that the movement of Black Lives Matter would like to see more counseling and health services being provided to their communities. Well, I know of one community of over 1 million people, Suffolk County, right here on Long Island, where I used to work, where a new AG is doing exactly what Black Lives Matter proposes. Everything filters through the police, but the police are not punitive. The Attorney General of Suffolk County, Tim Simi, talks to the citizens every Thursday at 5 o'clock and tells them what to expect in terms of social services and counselors that have partnered with the police department. He's got posters warning people that there are hotlines for domestic abuse, for suicide prevention, for drug intervention. They're not going after people for minor crimes. They're going after people who are criminals. And wouldn't that be wonderful if we could replicate that all over the country. Why should the African American population be the most incarcerated and the Hispanics second? Why should the African American population be 3 times more likely to get COVID-19 when we have health care prevention? It used to be the job of the multinational corporation. I know it was part of my responsibilities. I had to offer counseling to all my people. I had about 125 workers, and my doors were open. If I saw that they had alcohol problems, I was able to counsel them and get them into rehab programs. We didn't fire those people. We helped them. We had nurses in the factory floor. They provided prevented health when necessary. And that's what we need. We need to build back trust in the African American community so that they will seek the help they need and know that they can trust the community policing not to incarcerate them, not to fine them for, I guess, fees that are been imposed for no reason, and to treat them humanely with dignity and respect. That's what defunding means. It means an alternate way of looking at policing. It doesn't mean taking the police away from their responsibilities. The 911 calls are still there. The 311 calls are still there. But in addition, they have these hotlines and referral services and follow-ups for at least 90 days. I think it sounds like a humane model for a police department. I don't know it in depth. I only know what I see. And certainly I'm sure that the AG, Tim Simi, working with the police, would be happy to discuss his programs with anyone else. Could be a big benefit. Don't have to go far for solutions. Which brings me to how do we control COVID-19 so people will be able to go outside sometime this summer, not forgetting social distancing, not forgetting the mask, but just so they can have a breather before the real second wave occurs. Right now, I was sad to hear that Harris County in Houston is having a spike in the virus. This is dreadful. That is the medical hub of the entire West. It draws people from all over the world. And now, who is being targeted but first responders all, and the Hispanic population. We can't ignore the fact that being outdoors, wearing a mask, and social distancing works. When you're indoors, your chances of catching the virus are 80%. So we've got to work differently. We need more testing. we need more tracing, and we need workplace security. Corporations cannot give people a Hobson's choice of either they work and potentially they could die, or they don't work and they could starve. I think we're better than that. We're a great nation. We invented the supply chains. We just need to fund the right institutions. It's not going to happen under Trump. We've already seen that. He does not admit mistakes, and he doesn't correct them either. So we've got to rely on each other. Some of the foundations are stepping up, like Rockefeller and Ford and others. But it's not enough. We need corporate government partnerships. It's happening in New York, when New York has partnered with the upstate farms to bring food to those who are food insecure. It can happen all over our nation and needs to. We have 44 million out of work, and we have 50 million who are food insecure. Do I think that our future is dire? No, I don't. I actually believe that with the proper stimulus, we can save a great many people from further deaths of despair. It's easy. Put in place the controls that are necessary to prevent evictions, to provide for child care, to give money to the states and to the hospitals, and give folks the quantitative easing they need. I keep saying it, a cash check of $5,000 to 154 million people would only cost $800 billion. The others are too small in their thinking. I think we've got to think big. And besides, when you give a lifeline to lower and middle class folks, and folks who are working or not working, old or young, because the young millennials are also starving, it just goes back into society. It's not hoarded. They can't afford to hoard. And it's not too late to start working on designing a new America, an America for the 21st and the 22nd century, an America that cares about people. Doesn't mean corporations shouldn't make profit. Absolutely, I'm for that. I made profits, but I treated my people well. And I believe that's what has to happen. Prepare for COVID-19. Accommodate your workplace for this virus. Keep people safe. Stop the Hobson's choice. We don't need it. We can do better. Will it mean that you will be spending some of your stimulus or some of the money you've hoarded on the corporate level? It may. But you know what? It's an investment in the long term. COVID-19 is not a one-off. There will be other pandemics. We might as well get it right. It's 6 months already, and we still haven't really crushed this virus. Testing and tracing works. Start funding Health and Human Services, the CDC, infectious disease, predict, and start funding healthcare so that we can have healthcare justice and equal justice. And start looking at people as if they are your brothers and sisters, because they very well may be. We don't know. Somebody I know says, hey, he just looked at Ancestry.com and was amazed at the 75,000 contacts he has, some of whom are not white, but he is. So we have no idea who our brothers and sisters are, but we do know that as a united country with united goals, we can do anything. So don't be scared of the future. Vote. Vote for a new way of life, which will bring us new jobs. The American Indians are already doing it. They're putting renewable energy on their lands, and they were able to help the Californians who were left destitute by the fires. Farmers who can't plant all their fields are also going solar. So there's a lot of opportunity. We know we have to be connected to each other. And that's going to create a lot of jobs. So between education, healthcare, infrastructure, connectivity, we're all going to prosper together. May take a little time, but we'll be there. Don't lose hope. And thank you for listening. Have a blessed day until we meet again. And thank you. And if you have a question, just contact me at the Voice of Joyce at earthlink.net. Thanks so much for listening again. Bye now.